Hi guys, so in this episode we're going to look at SEO, and for those that don't know, SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization. Basically what it is the score your website has to help you rank on Google. So I think I'm going to give you a quote from SEMrush that basically I feel like they describe it best. SEO is the art and science of persuading search engines such as Google, Bing, and Yahoo to recommend your content to their users as the best possible solution to their problems. So if we look at web traffic, it's believed that 88% of desktop searches are on Google and a whopping 96% on mobile. So we need to look at how we can optimize our website for Google. Forbes actually believes that 71% of all searches that are done across any search engine appear on the very first page of Google. So it's really important to get there, but it can be quite tricky. So what I want to do is I want to quickly breeze over what Google marks for, and then we're going to dive into a free plugin that can help you optimize your site for SEO. So in a very, very, very simple term, Google grades for over 200 criteria, but I've tried to for this exercise, narrow it down to 3 to make it kind of easy to understand. So it is very generalized. So the first is that it must understand your website's content. The second is that your content must be credible. And the third criteria is reliably deliver content. So they are quite vague, but it just gives you a kind of a ballpark idea of where we're at. So the free plugin that we're going to use is called Yoast SEO. Their plugin is great. So first we're going to optimize it, and then I'm going to dive into a little bit how it works. So Yoast basically helps you structure your website so that Google can read it better. So when you build a website, your structure can be fragmented, and Yoast helps basically connect the dots for Google. It also helps you write better so that Google can understand your content. So Google is customer driven, and they want to be able to give their customers the best possible solution to their questions so that their customers will come back for more. And Google has become very clever, has become very good at doing that. Because it's recommending sites to humans, Google tries to work in the same way a human would work. So that's always worth keeping in mind. So when you're writing your content, always try and bear in mind that your content needs to make sense. And the better you structure your content, the easier Google would be able to read it. So if you imagine your content like a book, you need your title, even a subtitle can help. And then obviously you got your structured paragraphs. So keep that in mind whilst you're writing and building content for your pages. So let's look at Configuration Wizard. So you head to Yoast on the sidebar and over to Configuration Wizard. You can decide which option suits you best, but at the moment, as you're building, you're not going to have very much web traffic anyway coming towards your site. So I always go, your site is ready to be indexed. It's much easier than trying to find where it is later. So click Next. Select the section which is best for you. We're an online shop, so we're going to do that one. So are we an organization or are we a person? Well, we're a business, so we're going to go organization. And the name is CBD Pod. We'll input our logo and our Facebook information here also helps just connect the dots a little bit better. Obviously, again, I don't have Facebook set up for this account, but you can see here where you can put your LinkedIn, your YouTube, that kind of thing. Click Next. Most of these are good to be left at yes. And if you have multiple authors, click yes, but for most of you, it will be no. Double check that that's correct. Click Next. And if you want to help improve Yoast, you don't need to. They kind of really track your data anyway, like most people. I just leave it at no. So that's it pretty much set up. This is all their marketing stuff, so we just want to ignore that. Click next. And if you want to join their academy, you can here with a bit of information, but again, just click close. And that's pretty much it. It's super easy to set up. The tricky bit obviously is making sure that your content is correct. So we're just going to close some of these notifications down because we don't need them. And double check that you've got 0 problems there. So it's looking good. Okay, so let's look at how Yoast works. So Yoast will now mount to all your pages, or your posts, or your products. And you can tell where Yoast is because you'll see now on the right hand side here, there's a new additions to your section. So Yoast works like a traffic light system. And red is obviously the worst, and then it goes amber and then green when you're in the good. So you have 4 columns here. I want to show you one of my other websites that I've been working on for some of the articles that we've been posting, so you can see how they look. So as you can see here, these articles haven't been written yet, so they're grey, there's nothing there. And these ones here I've got more or less green. Obviously this one could improve and this one could improve. And again, maybe this one because it's in the red. So you have these 2 columns here, which are your SEO score and your readability. So readability is important because, like I said before, Google reads your website like a book. So you need to make sure that that the reading is easy. Your reading score is based on the Flesch score, and I will quickly show you what that is. So let's jump into one of our articles. This article is how to add a favicon. It's your site icon that appears at the top here. So as you can see now, Yoast is mounted to your page editor, and this article's in the green, so that's great for both SEO and readability. So we're going to look at readability first. So you get graded for all these sections here. So if I really wanted to kind of dig into it a little bit more, I could use more transition words. So as you write, you'll just double check back in your editor, and it'll give you tips on how to improve your readability. So say you're looking at this one here and your Flesch reading ease is say 20 and you're in the red, but you don't know what a Flesch reading ease actually is. You just click on the little link there, and they've got tons of really helpful articles that kind of very simply explain what each ranking criteria does. So just take some time, read through it. The most important thing is to keep your sentences short. Don't use long words. And if you're writing in paragraphs, always have the first sentence that sums up your paragraph, and then your paragraph, the rest of your paragraph is to expand on your point. So try and keep each point in its own paragraph. It just makes it easier for people to read and also Google to read. So if you keep all those things in mind, your readability score should be okay. Keep it simple. Don't use convoluted words. So we're going to jump into the editor. Now, we haven't actually covered Elementor yet, but I'm going to explain to you how to write first with readability in mind, and then we'll come back and actually look properly how to build pages like this. So this is one of my articles on favicon. Now, this also translates for readability and SEO. What you want is your key phrase to appear in your title. So what is a key phrase? So to help us understand that, I'm just going to pop back into the page editor. So readability we've covered, and we'll kind of expand on a little bit as we go. The focus key phrase is your SEO score. So as you can see here in the box, we want this page to appear on Google when people search for favicon. Yeah, so we want our focus key phrase to be favicon. Now you can only really have one because it's your focus key phrase. You can add tags later, and your tags go here. So your focus key phrase is the most important one, which is favicon, and then your tags are words associated with your focus key phrase. Now, words associated with your focus key phrase are called LSI words. You can actually, if you go onto Google and search for lsigraph.com, it's a free website where you can type in your focus key phrase and it will give you tons of words that are associated to it, as you can see here. And that's how it works. It's really simple to use. So once you found your tags, you chuck them in here. So as you can see here, because it's an icon, I've used words like address bar icon, favorite icon, website icon, and also what is a favicon, because a lot of people don't know and they'll be searching for that. So in our focus key phrase, we want to make sure that we're using that focus key phrase in our content, because as Google reads it, it goes, okay, favicon is the most important word on this page. So I'm going to read through this article and double check that favicon actually appears, because if it doesn't appear, then it might not actually be about that topic. So the more times you can use the word favicon in your content, the more it reinforces to Google that this article is actually about your focus key phrase. So as you can see here, we've got favicon in a title here. We've got favicon in text, another favicon there, and as you read through, it'll just appear throughout the text, favicon there. We've also included some of our tags like favorite icon, just to kind of reinforce again to Google that it's on the right tracks. We're thinking that that's what this article is about. Now, Google has become very clever over the past few years, and because it works the same way in theory as people do, it reads your content like a book. You don't want to overload your content with your focus key phrase, because that would reduce its readability quality. And as I said before, Google is wanting to provide the best content that solves its customers or its clients' questions. So if you had an article saying favicon is your website's favorite icon, favicons are used because favicons are the best to make your brand look good. We've added a favicon here. Look at this favicon. What Google will do is it'll read that and go, well, actually, that's not actually very interesting. And you will actually get downgraded for overusing your word, your key phrase. So if we look here at the bottom, you can see Keyphrase Density. So the focus key phrase was found 9 times. This is great. So that's good. Yoast believes that anything over 10, I think, actually downgrades your SEO score. So, probably 3 to 5 times. 9 is quite a lot. But when you're writing about such a niche thing, it's hard to pick up synonyms that go with favicon. So that's pretty good. The next thing to look out for when using the focus key phrase is that you're using it in your titles. So again, we'll go into more detail about what titles are, but this is a title, and just like in a book, it's got the word favicon in it. So we know it's most important, it's in the title. It appears in the text and in another title. So when you put in titles, you have H1 through 6. So H1 tends to be the page name, and then for your headings, you'll use H2 through to H6. So if your focus key phrase appears in a title, I would always recommend using it in your H2 and your H3. If you have a title that doesn't have anything to do with your article. It's just a title. So for example, we've got article overview. Article overview has nothing to do with our key phrase. So if we look at that, I've made it H6 because it's to tell Google that it's not actually that important, and it's more there for visual references. So that's your focus key phrase. Next, we're going to look at text length. So Yoast recommends over 300 words to give Google and your users enough content to kind of really get to understand the topic. I won't go over too much. If your topic goes on for too long, people can lose interest. So if you have quite a broad topic, try breaking it down into maybe smaller articles, which will actually help you in the long run rather than having one page full of a lot of content. So say, for example, you have an article about logos, for example, website logos, to link it in with this. Now, you could actually write a lot because in your website, you have the header logo, you have the favicon, you have your retina logo. There's lots of different logos that are floating around, so you can actually break that down into several articles. Now, what you do is you have a general one, which is about website logos, and then you have your sub-articles like this one here called What is a Favicon? And what you do is you actually link, as I've done here, you link the text to that main article so that as Google reads this, it goes, okay, what is a favicon? Okay, that's what a favicon is. Oh, there's a link here, and it'll actually follow that link to the logo page, and that just reinforces the fact that those two articles are related, and that will improve your SEO score. So how do you add a link? So you type out your text, and it's really easy. You just highlight your text, click the insert link button, and you just paste the URL in there. And that just then tells Google that this word is linked or related to that article. So let me show you on this side. These are internal links and this is external links. So if we look at favicon is linked to 3 other articles. So Google will know that those other 3 articles are related to this topic. And the better you can link your website will allow Google to kind of flow through your website and your users to flow through your website, going from article to article, and it will help it create a better picture of what you're about. So the more relevant linking you can do, the better. The next one is outbound links. Now, this is really important, and this is called backlinking. So backlinking is when you link your website article to another website's article. And it just helps Google, again, build up a better image of what your website is about. So if you're writing, as we are here, about favicons, and you use maybe some stats, or you mention a plugin that we're using, for example, what you want to do is you want to link that to that plugin's page, or link that to that article's page where you got your stats from. And you just do it the same way. You just highlight the word, click link, and you paste it in there. Now, what will really boost your SEO score is if you can get those pages to link back to you. So the higher a page ranks on Google, so if it's on the first page and near the top, if you can get that site to link back to you, it'll tell Google that not only are your websites related, that this website that is at the top, that is very credible, also says that your content is credible and is willing to reference you. Just like if you were referred by a customer to another customer. If your customers took out a plan with you and they were very happy with your results and they referred you to a friend, that friend is more likely to take you on face value and be open to take out your services. So the next thing to look out for is if your focus key phrase appears in your images. So again, you want to tell Google that these images are related to the topic that you're talking about. So if we look at this image name, we can see that this image name is called favicon location. So as you can see from the image, it literally tells you where the favicon is located. And what that does is, as Google goes through it, it goes, okay, that's what that image is about. Yep, it links to your topic, and again, it just reinforces that idea. So when you upload your image, the title will be the name of the image that you uploaded, and the section that Google reads is this section called alt text. So it doesn't matter what this title is called, you can just change it here. So if this was just called screenshot 1, for example, you could then include favicon location in the alt text here, and that just tells Google again what your content is about. It sounds like a lot to take in, but it is super easy because Yoast basically talks you through the whole process as you go. So don't worry if you're a bit lost. Just start writing your content, and as you write, just jump back to this page here and see what Yoast is saying. You know, how can you improve? And that's pretty much how you write content for SEO. The next thing we want to focus on is how to get your content seen. So when a customer searches for the word favicon on Google, if they're on a mobile device, this is how it will look. So let me show you how a regular one looks before we add anything to it. So as you can see, everything's grey. Well, this is red because the readability is poor because we've just got a shortcode on the page. And there's no focus key phrase. And the search result is just a generic block. So this would never ever appear in Google searches because Google doesn't know what your page is about. But it's just a checkout page, so it doesn't matter too much. So as you can see, it's just a blue link and some text, but we want to make it more attractive. So this is the one we've created for this one. So in your SEO title, we've got our focus key phrase, and now this needs to appear at the front of your text, because as I said before, when we're writing paragraphs, users read the first bit first, and then they kind of either lose interest or they just skim over it. So you want your focus key phrase at the start. Now, I always put the focus key phrase at the start and put a colon. And what that's called is front loading. So it's giving information on the topic and then you explain it with some text. So favicon, how to create an icon for your WordPress website. So what we've got here is we've got favicon, which is our focus key phrase. And then we've got the word icon and also WordPress website, which they're associated words. So this is quite a good SEO title because not only has it got our focus key phrase in it, it's got associated words. And then what I do is at the end of it, I put a dash and then I put the year. And this just helps users know that this is the most relevant and up-to-date article. And this little extra bit at the end can be what takes your website from getting a few clicks to people actually actively going to that link, because they know that link is a current link, and the other ones that don't have the dates on, they might not be as current. Your slug, which is the bit that comes at the end. So let me show you how it looks. So the slug is this bit here. So because it's a help article, we've got help article and then your slug, which is favicon. Now you want to include your focus key phrase in your favicon. Now you want to include your focus key phrase in your slug. Your slug will actually use your title as a default. So you want to make sure that your focus key phrase is included in your title. And then your meta description is the text that briefly explains what the article is about and appears underneath the link. So what we've got here is, what is a favicon and how can you add one to your WordPress website to make it appear more professional to your visitors? So we've got our focus key phrase there. The sentence kind of implies what the topic is about without actually giving the user the information they want, so that they will click to find out that information. And it also gives them a benefit, make their website more professional. So there's an added benefit there for the user. The next thing we want to add is an image here that can make your search article look more appealing. So this is an image I created about favicons, and it's just got the Facebook favicon logo and some ice cream around it, just to kind of make it a bit more visually interesting. So to do that, we come to the side panel, and you can see here we've got featured image. So now when you're using your featured image, you want to make sure that your featured image is the exact word as your focus key phrase. And as we can see here, favicon is our exact word. So that's great. Once you've done, you just hit update. And that is how you build your SEO. It'll take you a bit of time to get your head around it. So what I recommend is, in the next few articles, once we show you how to build pages, get all your content down. Don't worry if it's in the red. Don't worry if it's in the amber. Just get it all out. Get your structure there. Get everything looking right. And once you're happy with your website, then as you go, you can look at things, learn things. How can I improve this, and build on it. Don't write something and then panic that it's not 100% right straight away. If we look back at my articles, some of these are in the amber, some of these, even this one is in the red. What I do is, because I have a lot of articles to kick out, I'll write those articles, I'll get them looking good, and then in a couple of weeks' time, when my mind's feeling a bit more fresh from that article, I'll come back, read it again, and just give it a tweak, and then that'll bump it up to the greens. So I hope this webinar has been useful. And in the next episode, we're going to look at Google Sitekit, which is a great free plugin that can help you actually monitor the traffic from Google, and kind of it helps you see the scores and the results that you get from all your hard work when building in the Yoast.